Hey everybody, welcome to episode 4, or should I say game 4, of the 1969 World Series replay. We are in game 4 going to use the replay baseball game. Game 1 was used playing Stratomatic. Game 2 was played using the payoff pitch game. Game 3 we took a slight diversion and went to the computer and used the Diamond Mine computer baseball game to play out. And today, game 4, it is replay baseball's turn in the rotation. I do not have the player cards, physical player cards, for the 1969 season, but I do have the 1969 season on the computer game version. So what I'm going to do is use the imaging of the computer game to show the cards, and then I'm going to use the dice and the playbook to play it out manually, just as if I did have the cards. And that hopefully will be an interesting little hybrid there to get game 4 underway. And let's go ahead and meet the starting lineups for both teams here in game 4. And now we'll meet the starting lineups for the American League champion Baltimore Orioles, managed by Earl Weaver. Leading off in left field is Don Buford. Batting second in center field is Paul Blair. Hitting third is right fielder Frank Robinson. Batting cleanup is first baseman Boog Powell. Hitting in the fifth position is third baseman Brooks Robinson. Batting sixth and catching is Elrod Hendricks. Batting seventh and playing second base is Davey Johnson. Batting eighth is the shortstop Mark Belanger. And batting ninth, pitching left-hander Mike Cuellar. For the Mets, managed by Gil Hodges, it'll be center fielder Tommy Agee to lead things off. He'll be followed by shortstop Bud Harrelson. Hitting in the third slot is left fielder Cleon Jones. In the cleanup spot is first baseman Don Clendenin. Hitting fifth is the right fielder Juan Swoboda. Hitting sixth is third baseman Ed Charles. Batting seventh is the catcher Jerry Grody. Batting eighth is the second baseman Al Weiss. And batting ninth and doing the pitching is Tom Seaver. Your 1969 World Series Game 4. It's time to go to the field. Okay, we are ready to go out to the ballpark.
Replay Radio is live from New York. Top of the first.
Okay, so there you have it. We're all ready to roll. I do have my playbook to refer to after the dice results. I do have the 3 dice, the red, white, and blue, which will generate all our results. I do have the score sheet ready to go. And we'll be looking at the player cards. And you can see the card imaging there is just as if I had the card in my hand, but it's actually a computer image of the card. So we're going to use that to get our results from. On the computer version pitcher cards, you notice column 4 usually lists a position, either first, second, short, or third. However, on this particular version, the computer version, it just says F. And that threw me off at first, and then I dug into my actual playing cards from the 75 season, and there were some extras involved. And I found this. So if the blue die is a 1, then we're going to check the first baseman. If it's a 2 or a 6, it'll be the second baseman. If it's a 3, it'll be the third baseman. And if it's a 4 or 5, it'll be the shortstop. And that is universal throughout replay baseball. Some of the computer version cards that are up there will actually have the position listed, or I think it lists it once you roll that particular result, if you're playing on the computer. But since I'm doing it manually with manual entry, we'll have to keep that in mind. So to get things going here, Don Buford is going to lead off against Tom Seaver. So let's see what Seaver can do here with the first pitch of Game 4 from Shea. The roll is a 5-4-6. So 5-4 in Buford's card is a 4, and 5-6 in Seaver's card is a 4. That's a total of 8 in column 5. So if we flip to column 5, letter 8 or number 8, it is a base on balls. So Don Buford leads off with a walk to start things off. So I'll go up to the manual entry screen here and put in a walk. And there is Buford now at first base. So now that'll bring up Paul Blair, and we'll see what Blair can do. I'm managing both teams, by the way, so computer's not managing any of the teams. I'm doing all the decision making as I'm doing everything else to try to keep things fair for both sides, as I don't have a dog in the fight. Okay, here is Paul Blair, and the pitch is a 6-3-1. Column 6, row 3 for Blair is a 31. Column 6, row 1 for Seaver is a 2. That's 33 in column 6. And a 33 in column 6 is a pop-up to the second baseman. So Blair pops up to Al Weiss for the first out of the inning. And we'll go ahead and put that entry into the screen. P4. P4. See the little 4 light up there. So the out is recorded. And now that'll bring up Frank Robinson. So we'll see what Frank Robinson does. The pitch, it's a 1-1-1. All ones. Not usually good for the hitter when that happens, but we'll see. 1-1 on Frank Robinson is a 10. 1-1 on Seaver is a 1. So that's an 11 in column 1. And this actually did work out because a column 1 11 is a single up the middle. And it says runners advance 1 base. Runners with 4 or 5 speed advance 2 bases. Well, Buford is a 4, so he will advance 2 bases. So on the direct entry screen, instead of merely clicking the S for a single, we're going to do the S plus, and that's going to move Buford up to third. So Robinson singles, Buford made it to third. There's still only 1 out, and Boog Powell is the batter. So Boog, I need to update my manual score sheet here with that result. All right, runners at the corners, and 1 out for Boog Powell against Tom Seaver. And there's the pitch. It's a 1-6-1. 1-6 for Boog Powell is a 45. 1-1 for Seaver is a 1. That's a 46 in column 1. And a 46 on column 1 is showing here as a comebacker to the pitcher. So we have a chance now, since the infield was halfway. Score this as a ground ball back to the pitcher, who throws to second for the force, and try for a double play. So in order to try for the double play, we will roll 1 die against the pitcher's defensive rating. And if the die is higher, score it as a double play. The defensive rating for Seaver is a 2. It's a 2. So we're going to roll a die, and if we get anything other than a 1 or a 2, it's going to be a double play. And the roll is a 5, so that is higher, so it is a double play. So it turns into a 1-6-3 double play to end the inning. So the Orioles threat goes down, with Boog Powell hitting a 1-6-3 double play to end that threat. And after half an inning, it's the Orioles nothing and the Mets coming to bat. So now the Mets are up at bat. The Orioles are in the field. And Tommy Agee will be stepping up against Mike Cuellar. So Tommy Agee leads things off. And Agee, 6-1-5. 6-1 for Agee is a 31. A 6-5 for Cuellar is a 4. That's a 35 in column 6. A 35 in column 6. Column 6, 35. Short fly out to left. So Agee hits a can of corn out to Buford in left, and there is 1 away. So we'll go up to our manual entry and put fly out 7 for Fly out to left field. That'll bring up Bud Harrelson. Bud Harrelson. It's a 6-4-2. 6-4 for Harrelson is a 26. 6-2 for Cuellar is a 1. That is a 27 in column 6. And a 27 in column 6 is a single to center field. So a single to center field for Harrelson. He gets on. And with one out and one on now is Cleon Jones. Left fielder Cleon Jones. And the delivery is a 4-2-1. So a 4-2 for Cleon is a 3. And a 4-1, remember, 1 means we're checking the first baseman. So first baseman rating in this case is Boog Powell, who is a 3. So we add 3 to the result of the batter card, which was again a 3. So that's a 6 in column 4. The infield is at double play depth. So if the runners are halfway in column 4, we use the halfway result, and the roll was a 6, it's a second to first double play. But on results of 6 and 7, we use the pivot option, double play pivot option. And the double play pivot option is down in this part of the book. And what we're going to do is we're going to roll one die and refer to the pivot man's defensive rating row on the chart. So the ground ball was to the second baseman. So in this case, I'm sorry, it was to the first baseman, not the second baseman. It was to Boog Powell. So his rating, and the throw was to short, so Belanger's actually the pivot man, and he has a defensive rating of 1. So actually, we don't even have to roll, because when the relay man or pivot man is a defensive rating of 1, the double play is guaranteed. It's 1-6. So don't have to roll anything for that. That's going to be an automatic inning-ending double play. It goes 3-6-6-3, double play, to end the bottom of the first. And after one inning, we are scoreless here at Shea. Okay, Brooks Robinson up to lead off the top of the second. I'm going to see if I can pick the pace up a little bit here. And the pitch is a 4-2-3. 4-2 for Robinson is a 19. A 4-3 means we're checking the third baseman, Ed Charles. He's a 2. So a 2 and a 19 is a 21 in column 4. 21 in column 4 is a single knocked down by the fielder, and it's a star check. Umpire check, actually. So we're going to check the umpire result on that number 21, actually, on the number 21. We're going to use this chart right here. Roll one die. If it's a 1 or a 6, he's out. Anything else, he is safe. So the Mets are looking for a 1-6. Orioles are looking for anything else. And the roll is a 3, so Brooks is safe on an infield hit. Brooks Robinson reaches on an infield single. And that will bring up Elrod Hendricks. Hendricks the batter. It's a 5-3-1. 5-3 for Hendricks is a 6. A 5-1 on Seaver is a 1. That's a 7 in column 5. And a 7 in column 5. 7 in column 5 is a walk. So Hendricks has walked. Runners at first and second. Nobody out for Davy Johnson. So Davy Johnson is the batter. Davy Johnson. Pitch is a 3-1-4. 3-1 for Johnson is a 31. 3-4 for Seaver is a 1. That's a 32 in column 3. 32 in column 3. 32 in column 3 is a line out to right field. So runners may try to tag. No, that's only for on third. So it's simply a fly to right, no advancement of the runners. The runners stay put. And that'll bring up Mark Belanger. Belanger. It is a 5-3-4. 5-3 is a 40. 5-4 is a 2. That's a 42 in column 5. And a 42 in column 5 is a walk. So Seaver issues another walk, and that loads the bases. So the bases are loaded with 1 out, and Jim Palmer, the pitcher, is up to bat. I'm sorry, Cuellar, the pitcher, is up to bat. There's Cuellar. He is up to bat now. So the bases are loaded, and Cuellar will try not to hit into a double play. Here's the pitch. It's a 2-4-3. 2-4 is a 55, and a 2-3 is a 2. That's a 57 in column 2. A 57 in column 2, and that's one of those looping line and drives. So we need to check what the blue die is. The blue die is a 3, which means we're looking at the center fielder, Tommy Agee. And the raised die on Cuellar is a 2. The raised number on the 55 is a 2. Tommy Agee's range is a 5. So he makes the play no problem. It says here, runners advance 1 base if it's a single. Fine running catch. Runners on second, third advance 1 base if their speed is higher than the outfield's arm. Brooks Robinson's speed is not higher than Agee's arm, so it is simply a fly ball to center. Everybody holds. And now with the bases loaded and 2 down, we're back to the top of the order, and Don Buford. Buford walked his first time up. Let's see what happens this time. It's a 1-2-1. 1-2 is a 3. 1-1 is a 1. That's a 3 in column 1. And we know that a 3 in column 1 is a strikeout. So Seaver pitches out of the jam. Bases loaded and only 1 out, and he gets out of it. We go to the bottom of the second. Still no score from Shea. And now for the Mets, it'll be Don Clendenin to lead things off. It is a 4-4-2. 4-4-2. And again, when it's a fielding play, the blue die determines the fielder involved. And on a 2, that would be the second baseman. So we're going to be checking Davy Johnson. So 4-4 for Clendenin is a 1. And for Davy Johnson, he is also a 1. That's a 2 in column 4. And a 2 in column 4 is a ground out to first. So Clendenin grounds to Davy Johnson for out number 1. Easy play made there. And now we've got Ron Swoboda. Ron Swoboda. It's a 3-4-2. 3-4 is a 57, and a 3-2 is a 1. That's a 58 in column 3. A 58 in column 3, and this is where we get the lefty-righty splits involved. No, I take that back. I was looking at 53. This is 58. 58 is actually a chance for a rare play. 58 to 62 is a chance for a rare play. We're going to roll 1 die. If it's odd, we're going to go to the rare play chart. And if it's even, we're going to use the result of 53 to 57, which is a comebacker to the pitcher. So we'll roll 1 die and see if it's odd or even. The roll is even. So we're going to use the comeback to the pitcher result. And it says here, roll 1 die against the runner's speed. The runner's speed, Swoboda, is a 3. If the die is higher, he is out. So since Swoboda is a 3, if we roll a 4, 5, or 6, he is out. A 1, 2, or 3, he is safe. The roll is a 4, he is out. So Cuellar is able to make the play, and he will throw out Swoboda before he reaches first base for out number 2. And that will bring up the third baseman, Ed Charles, with 2 outs and the base is empty. Roll is a 5-5-4. 5-5 for Charles is a 20. 5-4 for Cuellar is a 2. That's a 22 in column 5. And a 22 in column 5. Column 5 is where most of your walks come from. And this is no exception. A 22 is a base on ball. So a 2-out walk to Charles, which should not hurt Cuellar too much. We will see. And that'll bring up the catcher, Jerry Grody. And the pitch is a 1-2-5. 1-2 is a 2. 1-5 is a 2. That's a 4. And a 4 in column 1 is, unfortunately for Jerry Grody, a strikeout. So the inning's over. Nothing doing for the Mets. And after 2 complete from Shea, it's the Orioles nothing and the Mets nothing. Okay, Paul Blair to lead things off here for the Orioles. Numbers 2, 3, and 4 hitters. Blair against Seaver. Here's the pitch. It's a 1-1-2. 1-1 for Blair is a 20. A 1-2 is a 1 for Seaver. That's a 21 in column 1. And a 21 in column 1 is an outfield single plus a possible error. The blue die is a 2, so the error check is against the left fielder Cleon Jones. Roll against the error rating of fielder. If roll is higher, batter and all runners advance an extra base on an error. So Cleon Jones' rating is a 5, so we'd have to have a 6 here in order for that to be an error, so we'll see. It is not. It is a 3, so it's just a single, no error involved. Blair will stay at first base as he has led things off with that. And now it'll bring up Frank Robinson. So Frank Robinson is up with Blair at first and nobody out. And the pitch is a 3-1-5. 3-1 for Robinson is a 31. 3-5 for Seaver is a 2. That's a 33 in column 3. And a 33 in column 3. Column 3, 33 is a line out to center field. So Robinson lines out to Agee for out number 1. And that will bring up Boog Powell. Big left-handed hitting Boog Powell. And the pitch. It's a 3-2-6 for Powell. 3-2 is a 29. 3-6 for Seaver is a 3. That's a 32 in column 3. And that is going to be a line out to right field this time. So Powell lines out to Swoboda in right for out number 2. And that will bring up Brooks Robinson with 2 outs and Blair still sitting at first base. The pitch is a 2-5-6. 2-5 for Brooks Robinson is a 16. 2-6 for Seaver is a 2. That's an 18 in column 2. And an 18 in column 2 shows as a fly out to center field. So Brooks Robinson flies out to Agee. Inning is over. Nothing doing for the Orioles. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. Still no score. And to lead things off for the Mets, it'll be second baseman Al Weiss. Al Weiss is a 6-4-4. 6-4 for Weiss is a 26. 6-4 for Cuellar is a 2. That's a 28 in column 6. And a 28 in column 6 is a single to center field. So Al Weiss leads off with the single, and as the number 8 hitter, that's important because now Seaver can bunt. Seaver can work the sacrifice bunt possibilities. So what we're going to do is check Seaver's ability to bunt, and on his card he is a bunt 3. So if we go to the sacrifice chart under number 3, and the infield is in at the corners, so we're going to be using this column right here, the 3 in. We're going to roll the 2 D6s and get our number, and the roll is a 8. So an 8 on 3 is a sacrifice. So the sacrifice worked, and I forgot to roll the blue die, so let's do that to see who fielded it. It's a 2, so it was fielded by the pitcher. So it's a sacrifice back to Cuellar, and successful 1-3 sacrifice, and Weiss will move to second base with 1 out. So there's a sacrifice back to the pitcher, and now we're back to the top of the order, and it'll be Tommy Agee with Weiss in scoring position and 1 out. Here's Agee. It's a 6-3-2. 6-3 for Agee is a 31. A 6-2 for Cuellar is a 1. That's 32 in column 6. And a 32 in column 6 is a pop out to third. So AG pops out to Brooks Robinson for out number 2. And that'll bring it down to Bud Harrelson as the last chance to keep the inning going. Bud Harrelson, he did single his last time up, or his first time up. And here's the pitch. It's a 3-5-6. 3-5-6. 3 for Harrelson. 3-5 is a 30. 3-6 for Cuellar is a 3. That's a 33 in column 6. And a 33, I'm sorry, in column 3. A 33 in column 3 is a line out to center field. So Harrelson lines out to Blair to end the inning, and after 3 complete here at Shea, we are still scoreless. Okay, top of the 4th, and Elrod Hendricks will lead things off. I'm going to see if I can pick the pace up a little bit, because this video is running a little bit long. I'm going to just forego panning the camera so much. See if we can't get this going a little faster. Hendricks is a 4-2-1. 4-2 for Hendricks is an 11. A 4-1 is the first base position for the defense, and that's a 2. So combined, that is a total of 12. 12 in column 4. And the 12 in column 4 is a possible error. So we're going to roll against the error rating of Clendenin, which is a 24. So it's a high possibility we may have an error here. Anything above a 24 and we have an error. We roll the blue die as well, just in case that's a 6. That would be a 2-base error. So let's see what happens. Oh, it's 666. Mark of the beast. That's not good for Clendenin. It's actually going to be a 2-base error. So Hendricks will start things off with a 2-base error on Clendenin. And he will make second base. He will make second base right off the bat. So it's an error plus on Clendenin. And that moves Hendricks to second. Nobody out for Davy Johnson. And the pitch is a 3-5-6. 3-5-6. Johnson 3-5 is a number 3. And number 3. And 3-6 for Seaver is a 3. That's a 6 in column 3. And a 6 in column 3 is a short fly out to center field. It's a short fly out to center field, so no advancement by Hendricks. Now, for curiosity's sake, that 3 was in the shaded area, but in this game, I'm not going to be using the ballpark effect. I'm just going to use the results as they're on the card, just for expediency purposes and for ease. So in case anyone's wondering why I didn't do that, that's the reason. So Belanger is up now after I notate that Johnson flew to center. So here we go, Belanger with Hendricks at second. And that's a 1-6-6. 1-6 for Belanger is a 45. 1-6 for Seaver is a 2. That's a 47 in column 2. A 47 in column 2. I said I wasn't going to pan. I should be doing this all the way. Is a comebacker to the pitcher. And let's see here. Wait, I take that back. It's actually a strikeout because there's nobody on first base. No chance for a double play. So it's actually a strikeout, the way I interpret it. So that's what it shows. It shows strikeout or comeback to the pitcher, and it's talking about being halfway. So I interpreted that to mean a runner has to be on first base. So with 2 outs, that'll bring up Mike Cuellar. So Cuellar is up, and Cuellar 3-2-4. 3-2 for Cuellar is a 2. 3-4 for Seaver is a 1. That's a 3 in column 3. And a 3 in column 3 is a dribbler to the catcher. So Cuellar is out 2-3. Inning is over. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Still no score. Leading off for the Mets is Cleon Jones. The pitch is a 1-1-6. 1-1 for Cleon Jones is a 20. 1-6 for Cuellar is a 2. That's a 22 in column 6. And a 22 is a single plus a possible error. And the blue die is a 6, which means we're checking the right fielder, Frank Robinson. And we're going to roll one more die and see if the error rating, if the die is higher than the error rating. So error rating on Robinson is a 4. So we'll see if, in fact, this is higher. It is not. It is the same. So therefore, it's just a base hit for Jones. No error on the play. Merely a single. And that'll bring up the first baseman, Don Clendenin. It's a 3-5-3. 3-5 is a 3. 3-3 is a 1. So that's a 4 in column 3. 4 in column 3 is a fly ball to right field. So one down, and that'll bring up Ron Swoboda. Swoboda stepping to the plate. And the pitch. It's a 6-6-1. 6-6 for Swoboda is a 10. 6-1 for Cuellar is a 1. That's an 11 in column 6. An 11 in column 6 is a single to right field with a star. So we're going to roll one die, and if the roll is a 6, it's a home run. Anything else, it's a single. So the roll is a 4, so it is a single. It is a single. And let's see if it talks about runner advancement. It says runners advance one base. Runners advance one base. So Jones will stop at second on the single by Swoboda. So we've got runners at first and second with one out. And that'll bring up third baseman Ed Charles. And we rolled a 1-6-3. 1-6 is a 45. 1-3 is a 2. That's a 47 in column 1. And a 47 in column 1 is a comebacker to the pitcher, where we have a chance for a double play since there's runners on first and second. So we need to roll one die against the pitcher's defensive rating. Defensive rating for Cuellar is a 2. And if the die is higher, we score it as a double play. So anything other than a 1 or 2, it's a double play. It's a 4, so it's a double play. 1-4-3 double play. And that will end the inning. So after 4 innings, we are still scoreless from Shea. And now that will bring up, for the Orioles, Don Buford, top of the order. Buford, Blair, and Frank Robinson. Buford, 3-2-4. 3-2 for Buford is a 2. A 3-4 for Seaver is a 1. That is a 3 in column 3, and that is a fly ball to right field. One away to start the 5th. And that will bring up the center fielder, Paul Blair. So both pitchers on tonight. Pitch is 3-3-4. 3-3 to Blair is a 32. 3-4 for Seaver is a 1. That's a 33 in column 3. And that's a line out to center field. So 2 down. 2 down, and that will turn it over to Frank Robinson. See if he can get anything going this inning. The pitch is a 2-2-1. 2-2 for Robinson's an 11. 2-1 is a 1. That's a 12 in column 2. And that is a single to left field. So Frank Robinson with a 2-out single keep things going here. And that'll bring up big Boog Powell. 3-6-1. 3-6 for Powell is a 47. 3-1 for Seaver is a 1. That's a 48 in column 3. And a 48 in column 3 is a lefty-righty check. And Powell is left-handed, Seaver's right-handed, so it is a hit. It's a single to right. Runners advance 2 bases. So Frank Robinson will motor to third on the base hit by Powell. So runners are at the corners with 2 outs. And that brings up Brooks Robinson. So there's where a lefty-righty split comes into play. Advantage to the platoon for a left-handed batter against a right-handed pitcher. Here's Brooks. It is a 2-4-6. 2-4 for Brooks is a 16. 2-6 for Seaver is a 2. That's an 18 in column 2. And an 18 in column 2 is a fly out to center field. Would have been a chance for a sacrifice fly, but there were already 2 outs. So the inning's over, and the Orioles threaten but do not score. We go to the bottom of the 5th here at Shea, still scoreless, and Jerry Grody to lead things off. Grody, a 6-4-4. 6-4 for Grody is a 58. 6-4 for Cuellar is a 2. That's a 60 in column 6. And a 60 in column 6 is a single to left field. So Grody starts off with the base hit. And that'll bring up Al Weiss. Al Weiss. And Weiss with a 1-2-1. 1-2 for Weiss is a 1. 1-1 for Cuellar is a 2. That's a 3 in column 1, which we know is a strikeout. So 1 away, and that'll bring up Tom Seaver. Tom Seaver. And it looks like we may have a bunt situation going on here. Seaver is a bunt 3. A bunt 3, which he bunted the first time successfully. So we'll try it this time. And it's a 6. So a 6 is sacrifice plus potential error. So the blue die says that Brooks Robinson is the fielder on this. So we're going to roll against the fielder's error rating. And if it's higher, the batter is safe on an error. Well, Brooks is a 1, so it cannot be, let's see here, if higher, batter is safe on error, runners advance. If not higher, fielder recovers, retire, batter on sacrifice bunt. Okay. Okay, so Brooks's error rating is, I was actually looking at his range rating. His error rating is a 43. So if the 2 dice are higher than 43, it will be an error. The red and white. It's a 55, so it is an error, and a 6 in the blue die means it's a 2-base error. So actually, Brooks Robinson commits the error, so it's 2 bases, and that will move the runners up to second and third. So let's mark this down as an E+ on Brooks. So runners are at second and third now. Unusual error on Brooks Robinson. Runners at second and third, only 1 out, and Tommy Agee. So the Orioles trying to clamp down now, have the infield in, and Agee the batter. It's a 5-3-3. 5-3 for Agee is a 40. 5-3 for Cuellar is a 1. That's a 41 in column 5, and that is a hit by the pitch. So Agee gets plunked by Cuellar, and that will load the bases. So the bases are loaded with 1 out for Bud Harrelson. It does set up a double play. So let's see what Harrelson can do. The pitch is a 2-6-5. 2-6 for Harrelson is a 55 with a raised number of 4. And the 2-5 for Cuellar is a 2. So that's a 57 in column 2. 57 in column 2 is a looping line drive. The blue die is a 5, which represents the right fielder. Right fielder in this case is Frank Robinson. And since the die or the raised number is a 4, Frank Robinson's range rating will have to be higher than a 4 to catch this ball. His defensive rating, I'm sorry, not his range rating, his defensive rating. And it's a 4, so they're the same. So therefore, Frank is not able to make the catch, and it's going to drop in for a base hit. Let's see here, runners advance 1 base, 2 bases if their speed is higher than the outfielder's arm. But Seaver at third is not higher than Robinson's arm, so it's just a 1-base move up on the single. But the Mets do crack the scoreboard this time, and that'll bring up Cleon Jones. Bases still loaded and still only 1 out. So the threat is not over by a long shot. Here is Cleon Jones. And it's a 3-5-1. 3-5 for Cleon is a 30. 3-1 is a 1. So that's a 31 in column 3. And that's a line out to left field. Says on less than 2 outs, any runner on third may tag and try to score, but Seaver's the one at third, so he's going to hold. It's just a fly ball to left, 2 down. 2 down, and that will bring up Don Clendenin. Base is still loaded against Cuellar. And the pitch is a 1-4-5. 1-4 for Clendenin is a 2. 1-5 for Cuellar is a 2. That's a 4. And in column 1, anything 2 to 6 is a strikeout. So Cuellar gets the big strikeout, keeps the damage to a minimum. Mets only secure 1 run out of the inning, and at the end of 5 complete, it's the Mets 1 and the Orioles nothing. And here's Elrod Hendricks to lead things off. Elrod, 6-4-4. 6-4 is a 58. 6-4 on Seaver is a 3. That's a 61. A 61 in column 6 is a double down in the corner, in the right field corner. So Elrod Hendricks leads off with a double. So as the Orioles try to fight back, that'll bring up Davey Johnson. Sorry, my finger got in the way there. Here's Davey Johnson. It's a 2-6-4. 2-6 for Johnson's a 55. And a 2-4 for Seaver is a 2. That's a 57 in column 2. We're back to the raised number again in column 2. And the blue die is a 4, which means we're going by the center fielder, Tommy Agee. Agee is a 5. So that was higher than the raised number under Davey Johnson's card. So therefore, he makes the play. So Agee is able to haul that in, and Hendricks will have to stay at second base. That'll bring up Mark Belanger. Belanger, pitch. It's a 5-5-6. 5-5 for Belanger is a 20. A 5-6 for Seaver is a 4. It's a 24 in column 5, and as expected in column 5, that is a walk. So runners are at first and second with 1 out. And they could go to a pinch hitter here, but it's still fairly early, only in the 6th. So Cuellar, who's a pretty good bunter, will bunt. He's got a bunt rating of 2. So we're going to check on that and see what he can do. Infield at the corners, of course. And the roll is a 5. Oops, I need to roll the blue die to see who fielded it. It's a 5 and a 2. All right, a 5 says a sacrifice, and the 2 is the pitcher. So Cuellar sacrifices back to Seaver, 1-3. He gets the job done, moves Hendricks up to third, moves Belanger to second. So 2 runners are in scoring position now. There are 2 outs, but Buford has a chance to put the Orioles in the lead with a base hit here. So here is Buford, and it's a 1-6-5. 1-6 is a 45. 1-5 is a 2. That's a 47 in column 1. And a 47 in column 1 is a strikeout. So Buford unable to get the job done. Innings over. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Still 1-0 Mets. And leading off for the Mets is Ron Swoboda. Swoboda, 4-3-1. 4-3 is a 19. 4-1 is the first baseman Powell, so that's a 3. That's a 22. A 22 in column 4 is a single off the fielder's glove. So an infield single for Swoboda to start off the inning. And that'll bring up Ed Charles. Ed Charles. A 5-1-4. 5-1 is a 4. 5-4 is a 2. That's a 6 in column 5. And it's a walk, just like many things in column 5. So Charles walks. Swoboda moves up a base. Runners are at first and second, nobody out. And Jerry Grody is the batter. Jerry Grody. Cuellar in trouble. Bullpen working for the Orioles. Here's the pitch to Grody. It is a 6-5-4. 6-5 for Grote is a 31. 6-4 is a 2. That's a 32 in column 6. And that's a pop out to the third baseman, Brooks Robinson, for 1 out. No advancement. And that'll bring up Al Weiss. So Al Weiss. And we have 3-1-1. 3-1 for Weiss is a 13. 3-1 for Cuellar is a 1. That's a 14 in column 3. And a 14 in column 3 is a line out to Brooks Robinson. So 2 down. Quickly 2 away. And the pitcher, Tom Seaver, is up. So Cuellar looking to get out of this. Here's Seaver. It's a 6-5. I'm sorry, 6-3-5. 6-3 for Seaver is a 36. 6-5 under Cuellar is a 3. That's a 39 in column 6. And that is a strikeout. So Seaver is out, and so are the Mets. So after 6 complete from Shea, it is still the Mets 1 and the Orioles nothing. Okay, top of the 7th, it'll be Paul Blair to lead things off. 5-1-2. 5-1 is a 4. 5-2 is a 1. That's a 5 in column 5. And this time it is not a walk. It is a grounder to third. However, with runners on and first base open, it would have been a walk. But since we're leading off the inning, it is actually a ground ball to third. So Blair grounds to Ed Charles for out number 1. And now we will have Frank Robinson up. So the Orioles have the heart of their order up to try to get to Seaver. And the pitch is a 1-5-3. Frank Robinson, a 1-5 is a 4. Seaver at 1-3 is a 1. That's a 5 in column 1, which we know is a strikeout. So 2 down. And that will bring up Boog Powell, who is certainly capable of tying the game on one swing of the bat. Here's the pitch. It's a 5-3-2. 5-3 is a 40. 5-2 is a 1. That's a 41. And he is hit by the pitch. So Boog Powell is plunked. Not sure if that's retaliation for Cuellar hitting Agee in the 5th or not. Could just be that he crowded the plate. So Boog Powell is on first with the hit batter. And now Brooks Robinson, the batter. Brooks, 6-3-1. 6-3 is a 16. 6-1 is a 2. That's an 18 in column 6. And an 18 in column 6 is a deep fly out to left to end the inning. So Orioles go down again, no score. 7th inning stretch time at Shea, and it's still the Mets 1 and the Orioles nothing. Okay, Tommy Agee leads off the bottom of the 7th. The pitch, it's a 4-6-6, and a 6 in blue means we're checking the second baseman for defense, which is Davey Johnson. So he's a total of 1. 4-6 on Agee's card is an 11. That's a 12 in column 4. So that means it's a possible error check against Davey Johnson. His error rating is 54. So as long as these 2 dice are not over 54, he'll make the play. But it's an error, 63. How about that? I forgot to roll the blue die to see if to see if we get a 2-base error. We do not. It is simply an error on Davey Johnson. Okay, sorry about that, guys. That's what I get for trying to nibble on an Oreo cookie between plays. Okay, so Bud Harrelson is up. And actually, we're in a sacrifice situation, as the Mets are going to try to put a runner in scoring position and get across a second run. Harrelson's a bunt rating 2, so we're going to see if he can get the bunt down. And it's a 3-3. That's a 6 for the 2 red and white dies. And the 6 is a sacrifice plus error possibility. The number is 6 in blue, which means we're looking at the catcher, Elrod Hendricks. So we're going to check against Elrod Hendricks' error rating. But that's a 64, so it's very likely that he will not make an error. But he does. How about that? It's a 65. Wow, just when you think you can't make an error, he does. Second error of the inning here for the Orioles as we go from a Johnson error to a Elrod Hendricks error. So we now have runners at first and second with nobody out. And that will bring up Cleon Jones. And actually with that result, Cuellar now is into his B ratings. So what we're going to do there is make the pitching change. And we'll be right back to discuss that pitching change in just a moment. Okay, right-hander Dick Hall has come on for Cuellar. And he will face left fielder Cleon Jones with 2 on and nobody out. And we'll see if Hall can induce a double play grounder. The pitch is 6.56. 6.5 for Cleon is a 36. 6.6 for Hall is a 2. That's a 38 in column 6. And a 38 in column 6 is actually a strikeout. So Cleon is out, 1 away. He is down on strikes. And now that will bring up Don Clendenin. And it's a 5-1-2. 5-1 is a 2. 5-2 is a 1. That's a 3 in column 5. And a 3 in column 5 is a ground ball to second base. And with the infield back, out at first, runners advance. So there you go. Ground ball to third. Runners do advance. So they both move up. Clendenin is out at first. But now runners are at second and third with 2 outs. And it'll be up to Ron Swoboda. Pitch 6-2-1. 6-2 is a 41. 6-1 is a 1. That's 42 in column 6. And a 42 in column 6 is a line drive hit to left field. Line drive hit to left field. Runners advance 1 base on the single. So that'll score Agee as Swoboda gets the hit. Now we can try to score Harrelson as well, as there are 2 outs and he was at second base. It says chance for extra bases. Roll 1 die against the outfielder's defensive rating. If the die is higher, let's see here, it's at least a triple clearing the bases. All right, line drive hit to center base. Okay, chance for extra bases. All right, so we're going to see if it's more than just a single. And the blue die result is a 1, which means we're going to check the left fielder. So we're going to roll a die against the left fielder, Buford, and his defensive rating, which is a 4. So we're going to roll a die against the 4 and see if it's higher or not. The die is higher, so it's a 6. So that means if the die is higher, it's at least a triple clearing the bases. Roll 1 die against the outfielder's arm. If the die is higher, scored as an inside the park home run. So now we're going to check the arm rating of Buford, which is a 3. If it's higher than a 3, we've got an inside the park home run from Ron Swoboda. It's a 6. It is an inside the park home run by Ron Swoboda. So he has cleared the bases with a 3-run inside the park home run against Dick Hall and Don Buford, who had some issues out there with the dice roll. So we'll take a second and put all that down on the score sheet and clear things up. Okay, so Ron Swoboda has got the Met fans going here with that 3-run inside the park home run. It is now a 4-0 ball game, and Ed Charles the batter. It is a 2.65. 2.6 is a 55. 2.5 is a 4. So that is a 59 in column 2, which is one of the looping line drives. We're checking the right fielder, Frank Robinson. He has a rating of 4. The Rays number is only a 1. So Frank Robinson will make the play for out number 3. But the Mets pick up 3 runs, all of them unearned on the, thanks to those 2 errors on the inside the park home run by Swoboda. As we go to the 8th, it's the Mets 4 and the Orioles nothing. Okay, guys, to try to fit everything in, I went ahead and played the 8th off camera. A couple of hits for the Orioles, but no runs, and the Mets went down in order 1, 2, 3. So we start the top of the 9th, last chance for the Orioles. It'll be Paul Blair, Frank Robinson, and Boog Powell, the heart of the order up. And here is Blair. And it's a 3-1-4. 3-1 for Blair is a 31. 3-4 for Seaver is a 1. So that is a 32 in column 3. And a 32 in column 3 is a line out to the right fielder, Swoboda. So there's one away. And now Seaver is 2 outs away from a shutout and evening the series. All right, now Seaver has just reached his B grades. So we're going to go to the bullpen and we'll be right back with that pitching change. Okay, we're back, and Ron Taylor has come on to try to close the deal out for the Mets. It is not a save situation yet because of the 4-0 lead, but they don't care about that right now. They just want to get out of this and even the series. So Frank Robinson is up. Base is empty and 1 out. And the pitch, it's a 1-6-1. 1-6 is a 45. 1-1 is a 3. That's a 48 in column 1. And that is a strikeout. So Taylor strikes out Frank Robinson for out number 2. And the Orioles are down to the last at bat, which is Boog Powell. So Boog Powell, the batter. And it's a 4-2-3. So 3 for the fielder check is a third baseman. That's the number 3. So we're going to be checking Ed Charles. And his rating is a 2. And we're going to add that to the batter rating of 4-2, which is on Boog Powell an 11. So we've got a 13 in column 4. And a 13 in column 4 is a possible error. So we have to check an error against Ed Charles, which is likely because his error rating is a 16. So it's highly likely he has just made an error. Red and white die have to add more than 16. But they don't. It's an 11. So how about that? Charles does make the play. And the Orioles are out in the 9th. And the Mets have tied the series at 2 apiece. So Ron Taylor finishes it off for Tom Seaver. And with that, the series is now tied at 2 games apiece. There's your final 4-0 for the Mets. 4 runs, 8 hits, 1 error. For the Orioles, no runs, 8 hits, and uncharacteristically 3 errors. Tom Seaver is your winner. Mike Cuellar is your loser. There is no save. And that's going to do it. And we check the box score real quick and see if there's anything noteworthy in that. Don't know that there are. Check the runners left on base. The Orioles left 13 runners on base, so that was pretty noteworthy. Leaving 13 runners on base, and they were 0 for 13 with runners in scoring position. The Mets didn't fare too much better. They were 2 for 12 with runners in scoring position. So they both left chances out there. Home run in the game, the only one belonged to Ron Swoboda with that inside the park home run. So Seaver the winner, 8 1/3, 8 hits, no runs, walked 4, struck out 6. Cuellar the loser.